Warning, the following gameplay does include mature content and multiple trigger warnings as listed here. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, Xeshire the Cat on the scene with more of the Rule of Rose replay. We are now entering November of 1930 with The Funeral. Isn't this like full circle with where the game started?
Hello, boys and girls. How are we today? Wastepaper should go in the rubbish bin.
When
I think some of the scenes, yeah, they overlap with that.
Everyone bring
it's time to spring clean on.
them around. Do I make myself clear, children?
It's time to spring clean in November. So it's fair to say that the months that we are experiencing, quote unquote, aren't actually the months we're experiencing.
That's a possibility too.
Ugh. Woo! Thank you for the sub. Hi, Nets. Perfectly timed sub notification to cut out the sound of Jennifer gagging on a red crayon. Thank you. It has been a year. Oh my god, it has been a year. Thank you.
Stay! Go!
This is the part where Brown doesn't care.
Oh yeah, Brown's just kind of there. I really don't like what that implies, though. Like, that implies that yeah, I think that... Isn't this supposed to be the day we lost Brown? Oh, that is some bad clipping on her hair, I just noticed. Also, it reverted the model! I'm not in the Gothalita dress right now.
That has something to do with the clipping.
I don't remember how I actually get out of this.
You call for Brown repeatedly.
There we go. Thank you. Oh, that's right. I'm a red crayon aristocrat, except Angela, or, freaking Amanda made it out to be my fault. The unlucky girl realized that this was the old mansion. Unfortunately for her, despite the beautiful sunset, this day was the unluckiest of days. Only the girl's silent companion saw her as she suffered in fear. And so this day began. Someone told me in DMs recently that I have a really good storytelling voice. Like, I'm starting to wonder if that's part of the reason why y'all like watching me play these story-based horror games so much. Because I cannot help but narrate them. In the, like... Tell us another story, grandfather.
It works though.
For this game? Oh yeah. Alright, so what do I store away? I store away the bear's tail.
Oh, it probably reverted the model because it's just a new model now.
Oh, that's right. This is where we get, covered in crayon marks. Like, we're getting bullied. Oh, does that mean I can't do a full octopus playthrough?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, that would make sense, because you'd revert back to the original costume at the start of the game anyway. But I still have the umbrella, so...
At least you can still hit things.
Okay. Now this is where I really want to be careful not to miss anything, because I want to explore the mansion while I still have Brown. Especially because, there are rooms in the basement that she reacts to. Plus, this is, like... I remember this was the chapter where I started to become really confused. I mean, like, I was getting confused in June because, as we found out, I missed something freaking vital to the storyline.
Bree's house, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like if you miss too much of that, the rest of the story doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy to miss. It's really easy to miss.
Very easy to miss. Yeah, I remember this threw me off that the teacher's still alive. Like, we've seen him, what, live and die twice now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, young lady, you decided to play hooky again. Come to my office later. Don't you forget! When the strict teacher left the room, the girl was all alone. Brown? You good there? He was just a shadow for a minute.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. That little slide.
Oh, I'm the one playing hooky, meanwhile all the kids are slacking off. Gluttonous Prince looked grudgingly at the unlucky girl and said, "You've been called in by Mr. Hoffman, huh? Better not make him wait, or else." But yeah, I can't actually get past them. I guess I just go straight to Hoffman. Reception room.
Just follow the red. Have Brown look. Search the red crayon.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you have to do that part yet.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember it threw me off because, like, I had actually gotten used to not having Brown around. So it's like, wait, what do I do with the dog again? When one chapter is enough for you to forget the game's base mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you technically could do without Brown, but it would just take you a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Because Brown is basically your auto pathing. Brown is your Skyrim clairvoyance. There you go.
Skyrim clairvoyance. I was gonna say, Brown is what we wish Fee could be. Silent. And leading. Here we go. Yeah, the basement. Sorry, too soon.
What?
Ooh, my thing about Fee. Cell of Repentance.
Oh no, my brother just finished that game.
On a pledge. Okay, so I found a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the prince and princess. I promise to love thy neighbor. I shall offer a monthly gift. Oh yeah, that was the thing that they had us read at the start of the game. And boy, final is this where I am happy to have you on board. 'Cause... Okay, for a minute I thought I was tripping because it looked like those roots came out of nowhere. I remember interacting with these rooms, and Jennifer would, like, say and react to things in a certain way that didn't make sense to me at the time.
See?
A lone chair is placed here. It makes the girl feel uneasy.
Oh, I wonder if that's a reference to Misery.
Let's see. What, a lone chair?
The chair and the sledgehammer.
Okay, so how would a sledgehammer be a reference to? Let me
I
see
mean,
the
presumably somebody would be tied to the chair, and then you'd hit their legs with a sledgehammer.
Cell of Solitude. Okay. Yeah, the one where I find the letter is the Cell of Repentance. Cell of Bliss. And this is the only room with, like, blood on it. Okay, what?
There's an axe you can take in one of these rooms.
There are creepy-looking dolls lying around. They frighten Jennifer. Yeah, it's like a doll depiction of, when they sacrifice Sir Peter.
It is.
But I'm trying to read this on the wall here, if the game would let me.
Not sure you can.
Let me see here. Cakes and cones, a dwarf cone, lemon cane, a dwarf behind you. Now. It's better. I will tidy up a dark place. That's all I can read out of that. See, I'm wondering how it's a cell of bliss, and then you can clearly see there's, like, blood here. Cell of pleasure.
There's a weapon down here, but we're not gonna need it.
No, but I'll probably still get it. The film projector is broken. I never found all the film reels. That's another thing. I'm guessing they just, like, replay the cinematics.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just a way to play cutscenes again.
Okay. Cell of remorse. Well, there's the axe. There it is. You found a lumberjack axe. There's an adult's bicycle covered in dust. Gardening tools are neatly arranged. They seem well maintained. There are many empty cases. Names are written on the tags. Meg, Diana, Nicholas. Yeah, so this is like all the kids. The looping music does not help. Like, is it weird that I find the looping music to be just as much of a concern?
I do not like music. I do.
I think it's weird because normally I actually don't mind this kind of music. It sounds pleasant and quiet, but considering everything...
Yeah, it just feels wrong in this specific... What?
It feels wrong in this game.
Yeah.
Plus, the speakers inside of the orphanage, I don't know, for some reason that wouldn't make sense to me. To me, it would make more sense for those radios to exist on the airship and for the orphanage to have, like... Oh, God, what were they called? Do you know the old calling tubes?
Vaguely, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I might.
If anyone in chat might know, they were literally tubes that, like, you would talk through them and they would echo your voice, like, through the pipes, so it could actually help your voice travel around in multiple directions. It was like the early version of the announcer. Yeah, so I can't even use this as, like, a look or a drop. I find it kind of interesting that Brown will not approach the area where he's buried. Found an animal bone. Oh, this Brown? Can you find this? No? Okay. We won't find anything with the red crayon anymore. Eh. So now I just kind of have to look around the orphanage, I guess.
You can talk to the headmaster now to advance the story, but...
Oh, yeah. Let me just try to remember my way back.
No.
It's not like this building isn't a labyrinth in and of itself. Oh, wait. Hallways, 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 hallways. Here we go. Hey, I actually found my way back. I'm gonna beat him with an umbrella. Alright, Mr. Reception Room, where are you? Headmaster's room. Water plants sway back and forth in wildly pushed tank. Oh yeah, his fish died. Alright, what do you want?
You
There's no
dirty
fish.
wretch. Why are you always trying to get out of work? Can't you do your job like all the other children?
You're still here? Run along and help the others with their cleaning. Do I make myself clear? Brown? Sick 'em.
Why would you bother calling somebody into the office just to tell them to leave?
Well, I think we're supposed to drive in that... First of all, Jennifer gets tied up and bullied, and then treated like she's trying to get out of work. And then I can't leave. So this is where Brown cannot tell me where to go, and the game doesn't really tell you where to go either. Oh, I found the closet room.
That's when you pull up the guide.
Yes.
Go up to the first floor and go to the gaming room.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of healing items in that room.
Thank you. I am going to need those. You said upstairs?
Yeah, on the first floor. It may not be a bad idea to save your game again, though.
While I'm heading up there?
Yeah.
I'll head up and, go to the filth room right away. The tubes, I think, are called whistling tubes. Really? Oh, whoops, this is the play area. Hi, Cheshire. Hi, Sin. Speaking tubes were employed in some office with whistles at either end, and therefore were known as whistling tubes. I guess I'm picking up the health items because I accidentally walked into the playroom like a dingleberry.
Nope.
Found a drumstick. Found a lollipop. Oh, there's one more. Found a minced pie. Yay. Alright, what up, kiddo? Look, because I recently found something interesting to read. Ooh. The arrival station of the mischievous princess train did not have the girl's name on it. Left behind, she was all alone. What an unfortunate girl. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna save my game, so I don't have to do all that again. I can't walk over a broom, really? Tube. Several speaking tubes could not be hung from the edges to communicate. Thank you for the lyrics, Sin. Alright, yeah, I just had an eraser bit thrown at me. Hey, these damn kids and their stupid eraser bits and throwing papers like a bunch of little fuckwads. Wait, which way was the filth room? I don't know if I have an orphanage map. No, this is the balcony. Crap, I'm accidentally advancing the plot. Wow! I'm trying to find a save point, and instead I'm going the right way. Alright. No matter what the unlucky girl said to her, the cold princess simply stared up into the sky. The poor unlucky girl realized that she was all alone. I know we called October the longest chapter, and in terms of actual gameplay, it is. But I would dare say November is the longest chapter because of what it's trying to drive in.
Yeah.
Can I just get to the filth room so I can save? Yeah, that's a hallway. Okay, yeah, I can find the filtering from here. I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, here, I'll save. Because I believe what's supposed to really be driven in here is the fact that none of these kids like Jennifer anymore. And really didn't to begin with.
Yeah.
And I guess warning for people who didn't catch the first playthrough, animal cruelty warning ahead.
Yeah.
Although, is that really like a spoiler at this point? Alright. From here, I think I want to go up, right? In the door. Oh, there's the dormitory.
The sewing room on the first floor is one. That's a good way to throw out your shoulder, Diana. Keep it up.
No matter what the unlucky girl said to her, the strong-willed princess would only gaze lethargically. Asleep or awake, the girl was alone. What a sad, unlucky girl. Now they're throwing more paper. Heck you, Diana! Heck you! God, I'd be satisfied if she actually, like, reacted to that. Well, this time Jennifer picked up a crumpled piece of paper that was thrown at her. It reads, "Apologize by dying." So, I almost hate to go into this, but would this be, as long as I have to make a long trek, would this be a good time to throw in a personal story?
I mean, yeah. Because we're basically just walking around and looking at cutscenes.
Which way was the sewing room?
I do not know.
Oh, crap. Oh. Oh, well. Never mind, I'll story time in a minute.
Oh.
Found it right away. Oh, boy. The behavior of the small-hearted princess was concentrating on her chores seemed forced and unnatural. The unlucky girl became sad, and then she was alone. What a hapless, unlucky girl. Even Amanda ignores you.
Yeah.
There's one here. It reads, "You get what you deserve." But she didn't actually deserve anything.
No. And that's like... That's kind of part of the whole theme, too, though.
Is that she didn't deserve this, and yet they did it anyway. Alright, so I'm gonna talk to these kids, and then I guess I'll just share personal story time. Yeah, and then they pull out a book so that they can just stop talking to me. The two princesses didn't let the unlucky girl join their conversation. Wherever she went, she was all alone. What a lonely, unlucky girl. So, the apologize by that. Yeah, and then, like, when you walk away, but then if you try to approach, they just do it again.
Yeah.
To anyone who thinks that children are incapable of behaving this way, like, they're innocent and naive, I just say, that's the point. That they are...
No, children are absolutely some of the most horrible creatures out there.
I would dare to say because they are naive. They do not know what they're doing is right or wrong. So, the personal story time. It reads, "Beggar plus thief equals the terrible Jennifer." When I was in 6th grade, and was basically going to public school for, like, the first time since I returned to the North. I was going to religious schools for a good while. I have no idea where to go from here. I actually got pulled out a little over halfway through my 6th grade year. I was homeschooled for half a year. Because I actually had classmates that would put sticky notes on my lockers telling me to go kill myself.
And like schools will refuse to do anything, and that does not help.
They did refuse. They denied that there were students capable of this. Oh, and it gets worse. It gets worse. The teacher accused me of putting those there myself, and as punishment, I had to scrub my own locker clean.
Yeah, I've had something like that happen, and
You-
it's not okay.
Here's the thing. Those lockers had, like, personal codes. Those sticky notes were inside my locker. I did not put those there.
That becomes a security issue.
And then when I alright, who's dying tonight? Oh, there's more. When I reopened my locker after being told I had to go clean it, I found bits of chewing gum and thumbtacks and razor blades and, like, brass tacks, a bunch of sharp objects shoved in my locker. And they also, like, this is over the course of several days. I've found my locker with, like, my binder ripped, with genitalia drawn on my folders so I couldn't take them to classes. I have found things of mine burned and shoved into my locker. Oops. I got shoved down the stairs. Like, the list goes on, and the school didn't do anything until I brought one of the sticky notes home to my mom, and she barged into the school, which, by the way, threw me into guidance counseling to try and get me medicated because they thought I was a problem child. Returning to public school was the only time I ever actually started failing in school. Before this, I was on AB honor roll. Yeah, I was kind of pressured to be. Not by my mother, mind you, by just the standards of my family.
Well, it becomes a bigger issue because it's clear that the bullies are the ones who need serious mental help.
But because I'm responding. So what had happened was my mother had burst in like an angry bear, and she took the sticky notes that I found in my locker and walked to the principal and said, "My son will not be returning to this school." And the principal was like, "Well, there's no problem, children. Nothing's happening here." And she slammed the sticky notes onto the teacher's desk. And the principal just turned pale when she saw what was written on those notes. And my mother just looked at her and was like, "You have one of two choices. Financial compensation?" Actually, no. Like, she legit sued the school and got me textbooks so I could be homeschooled for the second half of my 6th grade year.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that my siblings were both homeschooled. We had an incident where they had, it's an elementary school, a superhero dress-up day.
Mm-hmm.
Putting young children in superhero costumes. What could go wrong? So, brother just had his Superman pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
And some kid wearing Batman stuff walked up and tore his nails down brother's face and drew blood.
Ah.
Well, it took 2 teachers to pull my brother off the kid after that.
Well, I bet.
They threatened to expel my brother. Did not punish the other kid. Dad threatened to sue because he has clear evidence that my brother was injured at school, was attacked at school. And we ended up having to pull him out of that school. And poor brother was like, "Am I gonna get in trouble?" And Dad's like, No, let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah, like I shared the story about the kid that bullied me on the internet, and I punched him so hard I broke his nose and his glasses, which, not a smart choice on my part. I'm not saying violence was the correct answer, but goddamned if it wasn't satisfying. It was a literal contemplation in my head of, is this worth it? Yes. Oh, I very
Like,
much
after all of
got in
that,
trouble.
yes.
I very much got in trouble. By the way, before the other before people think that I didn't get back at the bullies that did that to me. Part of the reason I was bullied is because I was playing trombone in band class, which, by the way, when you play an instrument that's bigger than you are, you immediately lose any form of cool. However,
Why do they care what you're playing in band? Like,
the thing that they didn't consider is I could carry this instrument that was bigger than I am.
also true.
So I may or may not have finally just gotten tired of getting bullied and actually swung it at them. In its case.
Oof.
And I may or may not have made contact and sent them flying into a chair.
Oof.
Way, he's a bully. He's hitting me with his instrument. And then the teacher was like, all right, don't do that. So, what I did the next day, they were like, you can't do that. The next day, they tried bullying me again, but this time they waited until I got the trombone out of its case. And then they started, like, doing the same thing they did the other day, so I just went, tell me if this sounds right to you, and I blared it right in their ear. This is a trombone. And there's the crybaby. You know, the girl tried to comfort her, the tearful princess just cried even more. In the end, the girl was all alone. What a fragile and lucky girl. Even the crybaby doesn't like me.
I think a lot of that is she does that for show or for attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially
Like
when
a
you...
scene with the butterfly.
Yeah, I was just like, don't touch it.
He tries to freaking stab you.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I take a back and forth with this and say that I was a good kid, but also I was not a good kid. I got angry, I got into fights, I did really stupid and aggressive things that I really should not have. But at the same time, it's not that I did them without provocation.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know any better. I was scared, I was angry, I reacted. So, the whole point of me sharing this personal story is because, like, this game really feeds into that. So I could see, like, how someone might not like this game if they themselves were a bully at some point in their lives.
Because they're gonna see a reflection of the kind of things that they did.
Mm-hmm. This is making me think of, like, what did I do in high school and grade school? Like, did I hurt people? And it's just like, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I did terrible things. And I can only apologize so much. Oh, it reads,
Well,
come to the
I
hall.
almost flunked out of senior year, so that was one thing I did.
I just got a piece of paper that says come to the hall, and all I can say is, which one? Oh, unless that's a note I was supposed to read earlier. Whoops.
The history teacher was one of those who liked to be friends with her students and let them do whatever they wanted.
Ew.
And finally, I got fed up, walked up to her and said, be a teacher and shut your students up. I got a detention for insubordination, which none of us could stop laughing at. It's like, wait, what?
Insubordination.
Insubordination.
For telling your teacher to be a teacher.
I kind of wanted to put that on the wall, because you don't see that on a detention slip.
That's funny.
But then she put my desk in the hall.
Uh-huh.
And started intentionally flunking all of my papers.
Oh, that's not okay.
But that happened to be the year I got my autism diagnosis. And once the like disability stuff kicked in, like their hands were pretty much tied. Which meant that I didn't have to give my final assignment, which was a large chunk of my history grade.
Ooh,
In
here we
front of
go.
the class, I did it. Oh,
Cleaning time is over.
I'm sorry.
Waste paper should go in the rubbish bin, and washing should go into the filth room. Are the rooms all spick and span? Are the halls all sparkling clean? It's almost time for bed. Diana, Eleanor, Xavier, Meg, Susan, Nicholas, Thomas, Clara, Olivia. Be thankful for this wonderful day.
Jennifer's not included.
Pray for an even better day.
Nor is Amanda, actually.
Get ready for bed.
I just noticed that.
You have a good night's rest.
Like, Amanda's just as bullied, and even she treats us like garbage. And here's where... I am so sorry to interrupt your story. I did not mean to start a cutscene.
you did.
Announcement from the aristocrats. This month's gift, the filthy Jennifer. Don't they actually say, like, wanted, dead, or alive?
Some of them might.
I think it's going to tell me to save my game. Yes.
Okay, so the assignment was modern history.
Okay. Yeah, we're still in November,
So-
so I'll keep going when you're done sharing.
So in retaliation, I let my mother choose the topic.
Oh.
Female serial killers of the 20th century.
Ooh. Was
Well-
Elizabeth Bathory 20th century?
No. Like there was one woman in Australia, really troubled all her life, worked in a tannery and a slaughterhouse for a while. May have killed, skinned, and eaten her boyfriend.
And I get the beer.
So yeah, the teacher and the guidance counselors were not exactly thrilled to have to sit through a like 20-page paper of that as my very last assignment of school.
That's, you know what? That's great. I actually like that. That's, I know you and I. We both find the obscure interesting. Not because it's like it's. Some people seem to think that it's like, oh my god, you like seeing tragic and dark and horrible things happening to people. And it's like, no, we're just fascinated by the human mind. Like, what drives a person to this point?
What was the name? There was also the woman who had like a dozen husbands and poisoned them all, and you'd think after the third one, people would kind of get the hint not to marry her.
Nobody wants to admit that they know a serial killer. There was a stand-up joke about that. It was this guy was like, you know, he seemed like such a normal guy. That's what they all say. Because nobody wants to admit that they know the fact that their neighbor was like spinning axes in their hands and chanting in satanic ritualistic languages. Pretty sure it's that guy. Just saying. Because nobody wants to be the neighbor that was like, did you have any assumption that your neighbor might be a serial killer? They just go, yeah. I mean, I looked at him and I saw him chainsaw a dude in half and was like, you know, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe he's just a really bad magician. The reason everybody says they were such a normal guy is because nobody wants to admit that they knew. Good to continue?
Yeah. Sorry for the long-winded thing.
No, you're good. I brought you here for story time. This is okay. And we're still in November, so... I'm trying to remember, is this... This is the ending of the game, isn't it? No, there's one more chapter yet.
Yeah, December. I think technically there's a January? Or is that just the Japanese version?
I don't know. There's a very tiny epilogue.
That might be it.
Yeah, I can't get over the fact that the imps are whispering, a red crayon just for you, a red crayon just for you. I think some of it's reversed. That's how they did that. Okay, now I need to... I remember this part. I need to go out to the back hall and see that the door tells me I have to kill certain enemies. God, it...
2 goat, 2 mouse, and 2 pig.
Yep, here we go. Can't open. A rat stands in your way. Can't open. A pig stands in your way. Can't open. The goat stands in your way. And this is why I was so thankful that you gave me those healing items. Here's what I find interesting. Wendy just waves at you hello from the outside.
Like, she was the one who gave the order to have Brown killed. And yes, this is the super spoily playthrough.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've already beaten it on stream. Hello, what's this? I found a lollipop. Neat. I killed an enemy and got a lollipop.
Alright then.
Okay, so I just need to remember where they are. Bathroom? Because I remember this was like, it's like a crapshoot as to actually finding them. Honestly, do you know something that could have saved this game a lot of trouble with the combat? Checkpoints.
Yeah, it really needed checkpoints.
And it's not like they didn't exist. There are checkpoints in the game. Before and after each chapter. Get around it, get around it, get around it. Done. Get me out of here. All that's left is the mouse in the kitchen. Let's go! Woo! Yeah, Celeste, you came into pain. What is my health, and do I have healing items? I do not. Do I dare to chance going back to the save point? No, because the birds will spawn when I go in. Go ahead, ask me how I know.
Wait, so they put birds in the one supposed safe room in the game? Or in this chapter?
Yep. Well, between you and the save point, if you go back and forth too much.
Oh.
Do you hate
That's
it?
still not cool.
So you know that tiny hallway between the filth room, the bathroom, and the way out?
Yeah.
They put birds there. But they spawn only after you've gone back and forth so many times.
That's not okay.
No, it's not. I know it's supposed to, like, limit the player's saves, but come on. If you wanted to limit player saves, you could have just limited it to, like, journal pages and did what Resident Evil did with its ink cartridges.
Yeah, that was really a better system because it gives you a better gauge of progress, too.
Mm-hmm. Wash house. Never been in here before. Oh, there's blood here. I didn't know you could go outside here. Huh. Okay, alright, where's the kitchen, where's the kitchen, where's the kitchen, where's the kitchen?
Yeah, those rollers are not a good place to see blood.
Those rollers?
Hmm. That was a laundry wringing machine.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you put the laundry between the rollers, and you
it
turn the
goes
crank,
squish.
and it squeezes the water out.
This is a classroom. I don't want to be in the classroom. Just let me get to the kitchen. Wait a minute, did I just go backwards? Damn it.
Hmm?
I did. I started going backwards. Camera.
Do you have a map?
Not on me. I know, I'm sorry. That's a toilet. I don't need a toilet. Men's lavatory. There's 1, 3. There are 3 male characters in this household.
Yeah, like, almost all of the orphans were girls. 'Cause it's the 1930s!
Yeah, I was just thinking that. You know, every once in a while, we pull up a game, and somehow you and I have, like, these mind meld moments.
Yes.
God, I'm happy to have you.
Yay.
Where the fuck is the kitchen? I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't be as profane. Wait.
You've already put up a trigger warning. I don't think it matters how much profanity you
Crap!
use.
I took a hit from a bar stool!
Oh.
Please. Closet room. No, I need kitchen. I just need the kitchen. Don't hit me with the fire extinguisher, please. That'll be death. That door is locked. Oh, come on. Just limping my way through. If I die here, I have to fight everything again. Please, no. I'm just a helpless little girl. Although it is kind of funny when the enemies fail to cling on to me when I'm moving this slowly. It is kind of funny.
Yeah, the models are a little bit wonky.
I can do it!
Make the Superman dive and like belly flop on the floor.
Oh, that's his dining room. Is that it? That's kind of promising. Cafeteria. I think this was it. No, it wasn't, and I'm immediately turning around. Well, that doesn't mean I'm near the kitchen. I have to be.
Be the other side of the cafeteria? Presumably?
If it is, I don't want to know. I'm just opening every door. Kitchen! Okay, now I just need to not die to the mouse that has a knife.
Knife. I mean, the umbrella does have one of the longest ranges in the game, though.
Oh, it has a meat cleaver now.
It had a meat cleaver before. But the meat cleaver also has one of the shortest ranges in the game.
Okay, this is it. All I have to do is go out the door. And there's nothing standing between me and said door. Please. Yes, I know they're there, Brown. Camera, don't fuck with me. Sorry, that was actually genuine. Just...
I mean, like I said, you do have a trigger warning going off about mature themes, like, every time you turn around.
Okay. Here we go. To the inner court. God, this is disturbing. And then here's Wendy rubbing Brown. So this is your new friend, huh? It's so filthy, but adorable. Yes, Jennifer, there will be an aristocrat club meeting after this. Today will be the most wonderful day. I hope you enjoy it. If that is what she said to Jennifer after what she's about to do... Yeah, trigger warning for real. The funeral, here we go. The funeral. Once upon a time, a girl found a hole in the ground in the yard. The little people came out and told her the news. Today is the day of your funeral. If you don't like it, then you must sacrifice your friend, who wants to be buried alive. So the girl did what she had to, and she buried her best friend. Well, I wouldn't want to be her best friend. See, this is what made me wonder if it really is Gregory writing those still.
Like, I think the storybooks are kind of a way that the memories are being processed. Because Gregory would write storybooks and read them to her.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily these.
No. It would be more like stories and stuff. Or stories about the farm. When the girl finished reading her storybook, the dreadful imps had all vanished. And even her dearest friend was nowhere to be found.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Alright. So we've actually been recording this for a long while, but there's going to be some cutting and editing. What?
We spent an hour and
An
45 minutes
on one chapter.
on one chapter.
Then the girl thought she heard cries from her friend asking for help. Alright, do we want to form thoughts? Or do we just want to let it happen and then say our minds?
Let's go ahead and go through the chapter first.
This time the girl was certain it was her friend who was calling from above. I got stuck on the floor, beg pardon. There we go. It's not the girl's dear friend. What happened to him? Was he... Because of the frightening images in her head, the poor girl is a nervous wreck. And I think that right there is supposed to be the, like, real... the moment of realization that this is all in her head. Like, if you haven't figured that out up to this point, now it kind of becomes obvious.
Yeah, because, like, I think, again, the Gregory's House chapter, really, hits it home that this is all memory and,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Terrible that's happening.
It's a mindscape, basically.
Mm-hmm. Because of the frightening images in her head, the poor girl was a nervous wreck. Here we go. The girl could hear her friend calling for help from behind the door. I remember going through this the first time and all I could say was, no, not this, no, not this. Yet again, it was not the girl's dear friend. Something really must have happened to him. Because of the frightening images in her head, the poor girl was a nervous wreck. And the fact that it's repeating it and, like, really driving it in.
Like, that tends to be the way thoughts run during panic, like that.
Just repeating.
Repeating and, like,
Here it is.
mistaking things for what or who you're looking for.
This month's gift, Filthy Brown. She even opens the door in more of a panic this time. Okay, here we... And at this point, we're too late. So... What I'm trying to figure out is if Brown was actually, like, suspended or buried or what? I'm guessing we're going to assume that Brown was buried in the backyard. Or in that inner court.
Yeah, that's probably why he won't go near it.
Mm.
No, I'm pretty sure the way Brown died was actually shown in the first scene.
When you see the
Actually,
kids
in the intro scene where you see the kids beating
being
something
this-
in a bag.
Yeah. And there's Wendy as the Rose Princess.
Your brain is in the bag. It's too late now.
Wendy's in the bag, it's too late. Yeah, that was at the start of the game. And then here she'd had enough.
This is the big scene where you really get the connection between Jennifer and Joshua.
Yeah. You see what she looks like.
Liar! Go away! Just go away!
And just takes her to the floor.
Never forgive you. Not ever.
Well, and the other kids see Jennifer actually get angry and stand up for herself.
How could you believe all those lies? Aristocrats! You're just the opposite. I hate you.
And this is the point where Wendy loses all of her control over the Aristocrat
I
Club.
hate myself the very most for playing your stupid games and not having the strength to stand up to you. It's all just hideous.
And now they fear her.
And now she has basically just, like, thrown away the oath that she and Wendy made.
Well, and no one can blame her, though.
No.
What Wendy did was terrible. But if I may give my 2 cents on this, I'm trying to find the right word for this, but it's almost satisfying after everything that you see happen to this poor girl up to this point, that she finally just says, enough. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you see her break and then reform.
And you see the club change for it, too.
Mm-hmm. You know, just in time for only good things to happen. Only good things.
Oh boy!
Oh boy. Alright, chapter analysis.
Yeah, this
Uh,
one is story-wise and mechanically a doozy.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is how long did Jennifer actually have Brown up to this point?
I think a couple of months.
It couldn't have been more than...
It couldn't have been more than 6 months because Brown was still a puppy.
It couldn't have been more than 3 months. Because... So what June established is the months aren't actually the months. Like, the months that we are given as save states and chapters are actually not entirely relevant outside of June. Because I'm saying that based on the fact that April up to June, first of all, there's no way you would be in an airship for months at a time. That's impossible. It wouldn't stay
No,
up
that
long.
airship didn't last a day.
No. So you are seeing the orphanage through her time on the airship, but she remembers the airship as it went down, and it's so ingrained in her memory that might be how she perceived the orphanage because she was still traumatized and didn't really get the chance to recover from what happened on the airship because she was immediately taken in by Gregory. So, given how young Brown is and how much time would have been spent in the orphanage between escaping Gregory's, finding Brown, and then Brown dying, I would assume that she had only had Brown for a month, maybe 2 tops.
Sounds about right, yeah.
This is the only thing that does bug me about the storyline and how it's told to you is you don't really get a grasp on date and time.
No,
But-
and it doesn't help that the Gregory's house events happened in 1929, not 1930.
Yep. So what we've gathered is she spent a year at the orphanage.
Probably about that, yeah.
So let's look at it this way. The airship crash was in April? About?
No, February.
Oh god. So if the airship crash was in February, then that would mean that she would have been in Gregory's house until June.
Yeah.
So then, after escaping that in June of 1929, she would have then... No, she would have only been in the orphanage for about 6 months then.
Yeah.
So she spent half a year trapped in Gregory's basement and then half a year at the orphanage.
Yeah.
That
It's
sounds...
something along those lines. Because I did find out that the airship crash is based off of, there was an airship crash around that time, in Great Britain.
Yeah, it was, it wasn't the actual Zeppelin, there was another one.
Yeah, there was another one.
There were many. Those airships were not stable. They were incredibly, incredibly difficult, but they were also a sign of wealth. So Brown. I would honestly say the story of... Whoa, why are my frames in the red? Okay, that was weird. You know, my PC is actually colder than my room. I'm worried about that. Like, no joke.
That depends on how good the coolant system in yours is.
What coolant system? It's air circulation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine is liquid cooled because we frequently have 100-degree plus extremely sunny days where I'm at. And my room will hit 85, 90 degrees.
My room will hit whatever temperature it is outside. And whatever humidity it is outside. It is gross. Well, I guess to that end, the recording is still going to be there, so that's something. There is so much to talk about on this one, because this is essentially where the game wraps up. Like, there's more, but this is it. This is the big...
This is the big event.
The big close-all.
Yeah.
So... do we have any final thoughts?
So this is where you find out basically what has triggered the events that are coming up next. Where Wendy betrays Jennifer and Jennifer breaks their promise. Well, I guess they ended up both breaking that off. But this is what breaks down the structure of the orphanage. And I think at this point, the headmaster and Martha are gone. Claire is gone.
Mm-hmm.
By about this time, they just abandoned the kids and left. And there's some documents around. I think maybe the next chapter that talk about that.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the 1930s. Welcome to the 1930s. And this is the first time we see young Jennifer,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the grown Jennifer who is going through her memories.
I remember my mind being completely blown when I saw young Jennifer. I was so confused, and all I could think was, I'm losing my companion. I'm losing my guide. I'm losing my friend. I'm losing my... Oh. Like it took me panicking to realize... That is a brilliant way to ingrain how Jennifer would have felt in this moment, because up to this point, you've been relying on Brown so much, and you've already lost him, what, twice by this point?
Yeah, and
Once in...
like he's not just your guide through the story. Just about everything you can or would want to find in the game, you have to use Brown for. All of the extras, you have to use Brown for. Using the find function on random items to get them.
Mm-hmm. If you
And
want to
it
figure out how
does
to
a.
make...
Oh, go ahead.
To say, if you want to figure out how to make progress, use Brown. If you want an enemy to be scared off while you're trying to face against another enemy, you use Brown. If you're trying to find a way through, and I've noticed that if you hit find and Brown is focusing on the find, he will actually like maneuver around enemies. Like he will give you a path
Yeah.
that is safe. If I use Brown, do you mean shoot yourself? No, Brown the dog. Brown is a dog in this game, and we just watched him die. He is your best friend in this game, and we just watched him literally get beaten to death by
Yep.
children.
And we got Wendy get the crap beat out of her by Jennifer.
Yeah,
Which is probably one of the single biggest scenes in the game.
Again, you see her finally stand up for... Well, now I regret my joke. No, you didn't know. This game fucks with your head, but not in a bad way. You are just as confused as the protagonist. And that may honestly be the best part of this. The mechanic of Brown is brilliant, and I know there are some other games that have tried doing that, and, you know, we've kind of... I'm not gonna lie, we've kind of ripped and torn the modern horror genre to shreds while playing this, and heavily criticized modern games because this exists. Would you say there is any game that could even come close to this one? Considering how high we've put it on a pedestal by now.
That would be a really hard call. I'm trying to remember if there were any
I still haven't played Haunting Ground.
recently that I thought were deserving of this level of praise.
In your description, Silent Hill 2. This is better than Silent Hill 2. I will say it. This is better than Silent Hill 2. The only thing about this game that sucks is the combat mechanic.
PG is scary not because of the gameplay loop, pun intended.
Yeah.
But because of how much people have found digging through the files. Like, there's more fear in finding out stuff from the files than playing the game, and that's something interesting. It crosses a little bit beyond meta horror.
Kind of like how the girl is always behind you.
Mm-hmm.
For one, like you can actually see her if you're fast enough, but good luck. No, you have to actually like free camera to see her. You know, the last game that I gave praise like this to, if I had to pick a modern one, Iron Lung.
Iron Lung is good.
Iron Lung was brilliant in the same... and this is a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. It's kind of in the same vein of you don't know what is happening. You're not uncomfortable because of what you do know. You're uncomfortable because of what you don't know.
Because because you can't trust your senses.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use the mechanics.
you have to rely on what is in front of you. And with Iron Lung, what is in front of you is a map and coordinates and your camera. And even then, you can't really trust if your camera sees what it sees.
Go through and see if there's
Similar.
anything on like the psychological horror side.
I can't think of anything. I actually can't. I think the other reason that this game is on such a high pedestal for me is because I have PTSD. And like I've sprinkled bits of personal story time across this playthrough because I've had so many opportunities to talk about my experience living with PTSD. And I can accurately say, yeah, the brain tends to just I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it multiple times. The biggest thing that people don't seem to know is that not a lot of people who have PTSD are even aware that they have it until years later. I need to go get dinner. It's an interesting oh wait, I need to go get dinner. It's an interesting discussion. Well, you can come back. I'm going to say one more time, do we have any final thoughts?
Yeah, this chapter it really builds up well, even if the mechanics don't serve it well. It does a really good job of building panic in those last few scenes, where you're constantly finding brown, but it's not actually brown.
I think there's more panic to that than actually fighting the enemies. Especially
Yeah.
because if you're like me and you get to that point and there's no healing items and you're just limping through it, so you're even slower. Which is probably realistic to that moment considering how much Jennifer was beaten up.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think we're basically going to take December, and if there is a January, we're just going to go straight into January. So the next episode is more than likely going to be the last one. I'm gonna be completely honest. As much as I give this game praise, I still would not buy this for $4,000.
No.
This is an amazing game, and I'm lucky to have, at one point in my life, held a physical copy. But I don't think any game is worth $4,000.
No.
I don't think any form of entertainment. Well, okay, I won't go that far. There's the cough industry. Anyway, that joke aside, we're pretty much all good to end up our episode here. Otherwise, I feel like we'll be talking for hours.
I mean, you really could with this game, but yeah.
Especially at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this an episode here. And for the folks on YouTube, this is Cheshire the Cat signing off. Till then, take care. Ta-ta for now.